Okay, everyone, it's 10:31. I'm calling us to order. You can just leave that. There's the traffic. Thank you. So 10:31. I'm proxying for Ray this morning, so consider me your chair. I'm just making sure I know who all we have. Oh, hi, Ben. Nice to see you. Who else do we have? Craig Schunkweiler has joined us. So we do in fact have a quorum, and I'm busy taking attendance and talking at the same time. Never a good idea. Brian Trigg is with us this morning. Who else?
Hey, Jennifer, this is Craig. Kevin had something come up and he will not be attending.
I'm not surprised. You guys, I'm sure, are very busy, and we will keep this short and sweet as possible. Okay, I think I have everybody noted who was actually here. Craig, I'm noticing you're also going to be proxying for Tim Gleason. So we basically have everything.
Okay.
All right, so let's get a move on here. I have had no request for public comment. Needless to say, there's nobody in the room. And so we are going to deem that done and dusted. Moving on to approval of the minutes of the January meeting, and I would ask for first of all, ask for a second on that, or I'm sorry, for a motion and a second on that. Anybody?
Just Craig, I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Craig. Second, anyone?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Bob. Any comments, questions before we move this to a vote? Revisions? That being the case, yes. That being the case, those in favor, please indicate just say aye, because I've got too many people who aren't actually here by photo. So,
Aye.
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 Okay, thank you very much. Thank you to Jerry for being here in the flesh. It's great. Okay, moving on. Items for action. Approval of amendment number 16, which is the addition of a state project, ITS 2023, consisting of installation of dynamic messaging and ITS at various locations. Total project cost of $1,725,000. Bob, do you want to weigh in on this? Just tell us what gives.
Yeah, I did some checking, and I was told that the contract is adding PTZ cameras to the interstates, as well as updating the digital message signs on the interstates in the Bloomington Normal area.
Can you tell me what PTZ stands for?
No,
Or
I don't know
anything about
what
it?
PTZ stands for.
The PTZ cameras, what is that?
Post-Trump syndrome.
Say again?
Nothing.
Until Zoom.
Got it, thank you. Okay, with those comments, may I have a motion to approve, please? Come on, guys.
So moved.
Thank you, David. And a second? Who was that, please?
Dan
Oh,
McGee.
sorry.
Dan.
Okay,
Dan McGee.
got it, Dan McGee, thank you. So moved and seconded. Those in favor, please say aye or raise your hand, or both.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Now we turn to the town of Normal. So Eric, I'll be relying on you here. Approval of amendment number 17, which is to combine two separate illustrative projects in the current format into one illustrative project. Rehabilitation of pavement, multimodal improvements, on and on, intersection improvements at College Avenue and Landmark Drive, as well as other locations. Total project cost of $5.5 million. But again, sourcing to be determined. So this is an illustrative project. Eric, is there anything you want to add?
Sure. The primary purpose of combining those two previously separate projects. Would just be to streamline it, feel that fits together better as a single project and be better for time and funding.
Okay. So any questions or comments for Eric? Hearing none.
I do have one. So is this illustrative or is this being programmed in the TIP? Without an identified funding source, it's kind of hard to make a case for fiscal constraint. So should it be in a separate illustrative list, or is there expected funding from an identified source? I think that really needs to be clarified.
Yeah, funding has not been identified yet, so that's why that was entered as it was. We do not have funding at this point.
Brandon, basically what we've done in the past sort of consistently is go ahead and include illustrative projects in the overall list. They're called out that way, they're color coded, they're very clearly identified. The idea being here that, I suppose we could have done this as an administrative modification to simply combine these two projects, but bringing it to the committee and saying this is what we intend and here's what we expect at least makes it clear to everyone that this is in the offing as an illustrative project. Maybe you and I can talk about this at some point as to a different process if you think that's preferable, but that's kind of been our practice here.
Yeah, normally and what's included within the code is essentially you can keep an illustrative list of projects, but until they're identified and moving forward, it kind of doesn't go within the program portion, because once again, you don't know what the financial constraint is. You don't know what funding's being used, and you can't really say that there's enough funds available to cover the project.
Yeah.
I'm more than happy to do whatever you guys have been doing. But as far as identifying those funding sources and maintaining that fiscal constraint would be the preferred option moving forward.
And in fact, we do that in the TIP document itself. And also in any discussions we have in tech and policy, it's made clear if what we have under discussion is an illustrative project. As I said, it's been our practice to include the illustrative projects in demonstrating where the funding status is, and also in showing, what is anticipated mostly by the local governments. I mean, it's not like this comes up with District 5. It's more for transparency in terms of our local audience and saying, here are things that the city, the town, and the county are contemplating doing. Funding is not yet identified, but this is where it would slot in when it is identified. And again, it's very clearly, marked as illustrative projects, and that's explained. It just gives the context in the overall program. The TIP is fiscally constrained because those things which have funding are all accounted for, and it's done so, essentially in the text and in the overall discussion.
So it's illustrative for now and will be put into fiscal year 24 once the funding source is identified.
Yeah.
Am I reading that correctly? Okay, thank you very much for the clarification.
Jennifer, this is Craig. I have a question just on procedure. So I presume, we're getting close to where the new TIP you'll be taking input on that.
Yes.
When we say make changes to the illustrative, is it so we could make those changes anytime, bring those forth, or is it better to wait till the new TIP since we're so close?
I think the town was doing something quite specific here, and I think in adding a new illustrative project in the next item. But generally speaking, this close, you all are going to be getting an email from me, the annual laundry list of everything I need from you, probably in the next week or so for the new TIP. Also keep in mind that in addition to the 5 years of projects, constrained and otherwise, that we need for the TIP itself, we are also looking for your essentially 20-year horizon projects. We've done this in the past in a year when we're doing the long range plan, same thing this year, and all of that will be spelled out in that email. Craig, on your specific question right now, I would hold off until we put together the information for the for the annual update of the TIP. And again, we carefully demarcate between the fiscally constrained projects that are funded and the illustrative projects that are not.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Moving backwards. So may I have, if I don't have already, and I don't think I do, a motion to approve amendment number 17.
So moved.
Thank you, Jerry. Second, anyone?
Second.
Eric, thank you. Okay. Motioned and seconded. Approval of amendment number 17. Those in favor, please raise your hand and or say aye. Got Jerry.
Aye.
Aye.
Great, thank you. That is approved. Moving on to item 7, approval of amendment number 18. Again, this is an illustrative project, new, consisting of citywide installation of electric vehicle charging infrastructure. Total cost, this is basically across the town of Normal. Total cost estimated to be $4.3 million with funding to be determined. Yes, it is illustrative. Eric, you want to throw anything in on that?
Yeah, not a whole lot. It's very, I guess, be a very, very early stages type of thing. I don't have a lot of detail.
Okay. Which is consistent also with an illustrative project. Obviously, the basic idea being to expand a charging network across the town. All right. Any questions?
About that? But yeah,
Yeah.
I have a question, Eric. Are these going to be free for people to use, or will there be a charge for using the electric? Have you thought about that concept yet?
I don't know an answer for sure. Ryan might know that, but I do not. I know there'd be some upgrades to existing plus some new.
Hi, David. This is Ryan. I just jumped on. Sorry. We haven't, like Eric said, we haven't worked out those details yet. It's just kind of the idea. We know we have aging charging stations that the town does own. I know there's different funding models that are out there for, private public partnerships. So still in its infancy, I guess, for as far as program and design development.
Understood. So this is a replacement and an expansion, or just a replacement of existing?
It would be a replacement of existing plus look to expand where they're available.
Got it. Thank you.
Welcome.
I have a question. This is Craig. So Ryan, you've got 4.3. Would that also include running electrical cable and is it, because 4.3 is quite a bit for EV charging, just trying to get a sense of the scale of the project.
Yeah, I think there would be some infrastructure that would be required to various locations. Obviously, the power draw on some of these stations is quite high. So yes, I think that would be part of the project.
Anyone else? Comments or questions on this? Seeing none. Amendment number 18. Those in favor, please indicate. Hands raised or voices.
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Excellent. Motion carries. Okay. That concludes our items for action. Moving on to items of information and discussion. Very briefly, I'm going to be putting in this administrative modifications line or item sort of pretty much from here on out. As you know, we've been updating all of that and getting ready to post it, and we'll do so shortly. Anyone have anything under that which may arise?
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly mention, we hope to be releasing another SPR call for projects within the next couple of weeks. It's very soft next couple of weeks, but hopefully sometime soon. So just keep that on your radar for anything you may have in the pipeline for special funding.
that's welcome news for all. We'll see what people have in mind. Thank you very much, Brandon. Anyone else? We are next scheduled to meet, possibly even without snow. Wouldn't that be nice? On March 18th and at 10:30. And it's our usual, unless we're told otherwise, we're going on the assumption that we are using our hybrid model. People who can show up are doing so. People who can't, especially under the circumstances today, are online through GoToMeeting. We'll let you know if that changes. And with that being said, I will accept a motion to adjourn. Anyone?
So moved.
So moved.
Jerry? And who was that?
David.
Thank you, David. Okay. We have a motion to adjourn. Those in favor, please indicate.
All right.
Anyone opposed can stick around, but we are adjourned and it is 10:47. Thank you all very much. I apologize.